Hello there guys and welcome to Monday's live stream. I am JWF1 and we are here for the Young Drivers Test here at the Silverstone circuit for the top class. And if you didn't see what happened in yesterday's race over at Magny-Cours, a very chaotic one, but in the end it was another Etihad 1-2 with Lewis Hamilton first and Fernando Alonso in second. Obviously, of course, it was overshadowed by a big accident involving Esteban Ocon, and well, it incurred the biggest number of investigations we've ever had, and there'll be two teams have put in appeals, and their verdicts will be heard on Thursday. But as far as Esteban is concerned, we're still awaiting further news on that. All we know is that Martini have said he was taken to a local hospital, but from that point, we don't exactly have a clue what has happened since that point, so hopefully he is okay and will hopefully be fit for Germany. But as you can see, bright and sunny conditions here at Silverstone. So before we start then guys, because it is the Young Drivers Test, we might as well tell you who the drivers are for today. And here we are then with this famous little graphic again. So here we go then. At Etihad Racing, you'll be seeing Sergio Sette Camara and Artem Markelov. For Bud Light Line Motorsport, you'll be seeing Daniel Kvyat and J.R. Hildebrand. Over at Eldorado Racing, it's Felix Rosenqvist and Ferdinand Hasberg. EMR have Alexander Albon and Nicholas Latifi. Over at Suomi, we have Niku Kari and Patrick Ajala. Over at GRM, Robin Friends and Jordan King. Over at Monster, Nikita Mazepin and Christian Lundgaard. Over at AMP, Mick Schumacher and Santino Ferrucci. Martini, George Russell and Callum Elott. Shadow Mercedes have Felipe Nasr and Will Palmer. And finally, over at Monster Grand Prix, we have Joseph Newgarden and Marcus Armstrong. So, they are the lineups for today's Young Drivers Test. It's an hour session, and we have the return of TV graphics as well, so to hopefully to keep track of what's going on. So, here we go then. One thing as well, only one team has brought an upgrade for this Young Drivers Test as well, one of the 11 teams, so they're very interesting to see how they get on. You probably won't notice it. You probably might notice it maybe in Hockenheim if it is a major improvement, but we'll wait and see if it is. Because of course these are young drivers, of course, don't expect it to be the same sort of pecking order that you see normally in IFMC. So without further ado, as I've rambled on a bit, let's get on to the Young Drivers Test at Silverstone. So here we are then, here in the garage of Ferdinand Hasberg, and we're going to go to the end of the pit lane with Santino Ferrucci. So we will wait and get this session underway. Of course, it's an hour session. The return of TV graphics, of course, for this Young Drivers Test, and we wait for the first set of cars to get out onto the track. And as you can see, as we've got some action in the form of Santino Ferrucci, he's actually going to be the first man to come out onto the track here at Silverstone. And of course this was meant to be last Monday as well, this Young Drivers Test, but because of my illness I was unable to do so. I tried to last week, I was trying to get it up and running, but I just did not. Pretty much my illness took over from that point, and I was just pretty much, I just couldn't do it really. I just did not have the capabilities of doing it, so I decided to delay it for a week, and here we are for this weekend as Santino Ferrucci is out on track. We also have Alexander Albon in the EMR, he's out on track, as is Will Palmer for Shadow Mercedes, so he's out there just going around those section of corners. Felix Rosenqvist out on track for Eldorado. He'll be the test driver for Eldorado next season and driving for Mars Grand Prix on a loan deal next season as well, so pretty much for him it's a good run to see how it's like in an Eldorado. Patrick Ajala out on track for Suomi, and we also have Ferdinand Hasberg as well. He will also be an Eldorado test driver next season, so no surprise he's in the car. Artem Markelov in the Etihad out on track. We also have Niku Kari out there, Jordan King, Mick Schumacher, and we also have Daniel Kvyat, Marcus Armstrong and Callum Elott to take to the track, and also Joseph Newgarden joins them as well. So 14 cars out on track. Ignore that a little bit of an error there from whoever created this Silverstone track. Clearly the textures for the gravel clearly smudged over a bit, but anyway, Santino Ferrucci will be the first man to set the benchmark of time as they come out of Copse Corner before approaching Maggots and Beckett's, and Ferrucci just going around the section of corners now then, as he just negotiates round Beckett's and then through into Chapel before he heads down the hanger straight towards Stowe Corner, and his first sector at 22.525 in the AMP, so he heads up the hill towards Stowe Corner as he flicks the car in through the right-hander And just going through the section of corners now then before approaching Vale and Club. As he now just goes around those section of corners. Ferrucci working hard now around these corners now then as he'll approach the flat out Abbey corner, which is this left-hander coming up as the sparks continue to fly out the back of Ferrucci's car as they head down the hill towards Bridge Corner. And so far a tidy lap for the American as he now approaches through Priory and then into Brooklands. He will soon go, and let's see what the time is going to be as he approaches Luffield now then. Luffield 1 and 2. Ferrucci goes through now then into 2. And now down towards Woodcote, and let's see what the time is going to be then for Santino Ferrucci as he now crosses the line. What's the time going to be? It's a 1 minute 19.266, so that's the benchmark of time for everybody to beat. Albon looks like he must have made a mistake somewhere because look at that lap time as Albon just goes around Woodcote, a 1:24.665, clearly a mistake from him there then. As here is Will Palmer in the Shadow Mercedes as he enters into the final few corners. Palmer now then across the line in the Shadow. Let's see what he's able to do. A 1:19.971. Felix Rosenqvist goes to the top by 0.03 of a second. So Rosenqvist getting to the top of the timing sheets. Here's Patrick Kajala rounding the final corners. Let's see what Kajala is able to do as he rounds Woodcote. And Kajala crosses the line to go third fastest with that lap. Ferdinand Hasberg in the Eldorado slots to third behind Ferrucci as it's P3 now for Markelov. As we now look at Nico Kari who will come around Woodcote. And let's see what Kari is able to do. Across the line, goes third fastest with that lap. King 7th, as it's 7th for Schumacher. Daniel Kvyat crosses the line to go 6th fastest in the Bud Light line. Marcus Armstrong crosses the line, 11th for him. 10th for Callum Elott, as it's P12 for Joseph Newgarden. Anybody else doing another lap? Yes, Will Palmer is at this stage. So the top two is Rosenqvist and Ferrucci. Only 300 separating them at this stage. Remember, of course, Albon must have made a mistake as mentioned because I don't think he's going to be that slow. Let's be frank, it must have been a mistake somewhere on the course. So to make him 5 seconds back from Felix Rosenqvist in the Eldorado. As now Palmer will negotiate round Brooklands and now up towards Luffield 1 and 2. Round the section, the corners out, then we go. As he will now approach Woodcote. Is this going to be an improvement then for Will Palmer? Let's see. As the younger brother of Jolyon Palmer crosses the line and he improves but stays P11, only a little bit closer to Callum Elott in the end there then. Patrick Kajala's not doing another lap, but Jordan King is in the GRM as he negotiates around Priory and then up towards Brooklands he will go. And around the left-hander he goes before approaching Luffield 1 and 2. Flicking the car in through the section of corners round the final corner and onto the pit straight we will go then as he will negotiate round Woodcote. And across the line goes Jordan King and he goes up to 5th, so an improvement for King to get up to P5. Schumacher improves but stays P9 at this stage. So Marcus Armstrong crosses the line, stays 13th with that lap there. As Elott goes up to 3rd fastest, so up to P3 goes Callum Elott, a very good time from him there. As anybody else on a lap, it doesn't appear like it, so everybody else going back into the pits this time by. And a lot of people, it seems, leaving the field quite tight, it must be said, as we come up now towards the right-hander. And I'm just going to double check something there. Sorry if you just saw that briefly, I just had to double check something. As now up towards Luffield A and B we will go on the track. And Palmer will approach the pits now then, which he does, leaving it very tight with the fuel as we wait for another set of cars to come out. And Nicholas Latifi for EMR is now out on the track as he comes out of Club Corner. And I think, no, Newgarden's going back in. As Christian Lundgaard for Monster Grand Prix has come out onto the track. Not a familiar driver to a lot of people, the young man from Denmark taking part in this young driver test, along with Nikita Mazepin, who we saw actually last time at Silverstone with RSPCA Racing and had quite some decent results, it must be said, in RSPCA Racing, now taking part in the young drivers test for Monster. Ferdinand Hasberg back on the track. We also have Felipe Nasr, JR Hildebrand out on track for Bud Light Lime. We'll also be expecting Russell, Friends, Seti Kamara to come out onto the track as well as a few cars come into pit lane. As Latifi in the EMR starts his lap as they go down towards Cops Corner now then. We ride on board with the young Canadian, flicking through Cops Corner now then. And luckily for him, no traffic coming out of pit lane there then, as he will now approach Maggots and Beckett's. So through Maggots, then Beckett's, and then through into Chapel. We will go a little bit later on. There is Chapel, that left-hander there. As they go down the hanger straight, let's see what Latifi's first sector is like. And dead level with Rosenqvist in the first sector is Nicholas Latifi. So a very good first sector there from the young Canadian, having it dead level with Felix Rosenqvist at this stage as he negotiates around Stowe Corner before approaching Vale and Club. And Latifi now then just flicking it in through the section of corners. So now he'll go up towards where the new pit straight is, but because it's the 1991 version of the track, the pit lane isn't there. It's obviously the old pit lane. Latifi loses a bit of time. He's now 400s down in the second sector compared to Felix Rosenqvist as he now negotiates through Bridge Corner, through Priory, and then into Brooklands will go the young Canadian. And let's see what Latifi is able to do now then, as he will go up now towards Luffield 1 and 2. Latifi now then rounds the final few corners and onto the pit straight we go before approaching Woodcote. And Latifi now then crosses the line. What's the time going to be? And he actually goes fastest, so he pulls the time back. He's 6 thousandths quicker than Rosenqvist, so Latifi goes fastest in this session as Sergio Setakamara has just started a lap now then for Etihad Racing. Here's Christian Lundgaard, 2 tenths down in the second sector in the monster car as he goes flat through Bridge Corner before approaching Priory and Brooklands. As he now negotiates through these two 90-degree left-handers now then. Let's see what Christian Lundgaard is able to do now then as he approaches Luffield. And I don't know if he actually had a little bit of understeer there coming out of Brooklands. It looked like he took a little bit of a weird line coming out of the exit, but let's see what Lundgaard can do. Across the line goes the young Dane, and he goes P8 with that lap. So Lundgaard into P8. His teammate Nikita Mazepin. Across the line he goes, and he goes fastest. So Mazepin goes to the top by 1,000th ahead of Latifi. So quite close in the top two there. Ferrucci starts his lap. Here comes Ferdinand Hasberg, a contender in GP3. He improves to go up to 8th fastest. Nasser 16th, 15th for J.R. Hildebrand. Rosenqvist starts the lap looking to get back to the top if he can. Here is Robin Friends in the GRM as he starts a lap. Here's George Russell. Let's see what Russell can do now then. The man who recently lost the lead of the championship to Felix Rosenqvist. Russell now then crosses the line and he goes up to 4th, so up to P4 goes George Russell with that lap. Sergio Setakamara now then making his return in GP2 in Magny-Cours. Let's see what Setakamara can do. Across the line and he goes 6th fastest for the moment. As meantime, Kari starts the lap as just Jordan King. As Kvyat now then just going around those section of corners. As now we'll see if anybody else is on lap. Santina Ferrucci now then 400s up in the second sector. So with this young driver's test, it's definitely very close between the whole pack, it must be said. As only 9/10 separating the top 19 at the moment, so pretty tight between them all at this stage. But Ferrucci up in the second sector, looking to beat Mazepin if he can in the AMP as we now approach Luffield A and B on the track. And let's see what Santina Ferrucci can manage then in the AMP as he will now negotiate round Woodcote. And across the line goes the young American. Will he go fastest? And no, he loses time in the last sector, goes up to 4th with that lap there. So Santina Ferrucci P4 at this stage. Felipe Nasr in the shadow crosses the line and goes up to 18th, so an improvement. Hildebrand doesn't improve, stays 17th. Rosenqvist remaining in 3rd at the moment. The current GP2 championship leader still 3rd at this stage. Here comes Robin Friends now then, who rounds Woodcote, and across the line he will go, and he goes 16th with that lap. So up to 16th goes Robin Friends. So now we look at Setakamara who's going back to the pits. Nico Kari now then coming around the final two corners. Kari currently in where is Kari at the moment? P8 at this stage as he rounds Luffield. Kari across the line he'll go, and he remains where he is at this stage. Jordan King stays P11 in this session. Daniel Kvyat currently on a lap. Kvyat currently in 13th place, looking to improve if he can as he rounds Luffield A and B. And Kvyat now then coming around Woodcote, and Daniel Kvyat will now cross the line. Is this going to be an improvement? It is, but only up to P11, so still just outside the top 10 at this stage in the session. As we look at Rosenqvist, he's 1/10 down in the second sector on his second flying lap out on the track as he rounds Bridge Corner now then, riding on board with Felix Rosenqvist as he goes through Priory and Brooklands, and round at the left hand there we go before approaching Luffield A and B. And let's see what Felix Rosenqvist is able to accomplish this time by as he rounds the final corner and onto the pit straight we go. Looks like those cars might have held him up a little bit, but let's see. Rosenquist across the line goes the Eldorado, and no, he doesn't improve, so stays P3 for the moment. Kari on a second flying lap. He goes up towards Priory now then, as we ride on board with the Finn through Brooklands, and now approaching Luffield A and B. We will go on the track. And let's see if Kari is able to improve. Kari currently P8 at the moment in the Suomi, as he now heads down the pit straight through Woodcote and across the line goes Nico Kari and stays P8 for the moment, as Jordan King remains P12 at the moment in the session, as the likes of Newgarden and Elot have gone back out onto the track as we look for somebody else who's on a lap. Doesn't appear like it, so it will be Newgarden that we view next in the Mars Grand Prix car, as he rounds Copse Corner now then before approaching Maggots and Beckett. And so through Maggots and then into Beckett, as we will now approach Chapel. And let's see what Newgarden is able to do in the first sector in a very underpowered Mars Grand Prix car. 3 tenths down in the first sector as we head down the hanger straight before approaching Stowe Corner. And flicking the car in through the right-hander now then. So we now go through the section of corners through towards Vale and Club. We will approach now then, as Newgarden flicks the car in. Around Club Corner we go. And so now using quite a bit of curb on the outside there then before approaching the Flatter Abbey. 5 tenths down that time around in the second sector. So we could be on for an improvement, but we'll have to wait and see. As he goes flat through Bridge Corner up towards Priory and Brooklands, we will now go. As now he negotiates around these final few corners on the track. As now up towards Luffield A and B we will go. Round the final few corners we go now then. Let's see if Newgarden is on for an improvement. The man who currently leads the GP3 Championship so far. Across the line goes Newgarden, and no improvement. He stays where he is at the moment, which is P number 20. And that's that really. Callum Elot doesn't improve, stays in 7th place. Looked like he was on the ragged edge a little bit there. Albon goes up to 7th, so he finally gets a clean lap in to go up into P7 at the moment, does the Thailand driver. So now we go around the right-hander. Patrick Ajala we now view in the Suomi as he comes out of Club Corner. One of the Etiads behind him, so it's either it looks like Markilov in fact, because Seti Kamara is still in the pits, so Markilov is the guy behind him looking to improve as well. Through Bridge Corner now then on the track as we ride on board with Patrick Ajala as he goes through Priory and Brooklands. We will approach now then up towards Brooklands, as now going through towards Luffield A and B. We will now approach round the right-hander and then up towards these final few corners on the track. Then we'll go Patrick Ajala, just avoiding the curb on the outside round Woodcote, and across the line goes Kajala, and no improvement for him. Markilov stays P10 at the moment, so still in the cusp of the top 10 at this stage. Here's Joseph Newgarden on the second flying lap in the Mars Grand Prix car. He just negotiates round Priory and up towards Brooklands. We will now go, and let's see if Newgarden's able to find some time now then, as he will approach Luffield A and B on the track. Around these final few corners then, down the pit straight now then towards Woodcote, and Newgarden will now cross the line, and he remains P21 with that lap at this stage. As you can see, Will Palmer now then just goes around Luffield A and B, and let's see what Palmer is able to produce as he will now approach Woodcote, and Palmer crosses the line, the younger brother of Jolyon, and he remains where he is at this stage. Nicholas Latifi doesn't improve, stays 2nd place for the moment in this session. So now we look at Christian Lundgaard in the monster car. His teammate currently top at the moment, Nikita Mazepin. As we ride on board with Lundgaard round Priory we will now go, and then approaching Brooklands. So let's see what Lundgaard is able to do, as he will now go around at these section of corners around Luffield A, and then approaching Luffield B on the track as we now go up towards Woodcote, and Lundgaard crosses the line and remains where he is at this stage. Kajala crosses the line, doesn't improve, nor does Markilov, as we now look at Felipe Nasr in the shadow. Through Luffield A he goes, and let's see if Nasr is on for an improvement now then, as he comes out of the corner through Woodcote. And Nazar now then crosses the line and improves but stays in 20th at this stage. Here's the man currently at the top, Nikita Mazepin. Let's see if this is going to be an improvement for the young Russian. Mazepin crosses the line. No, he doesn't. Stays on 1 minute 19.224. Friends behind, starts a lap, as will Hasberg in a little bit. Will Palmer again on another lap as he rounds Lovefield A. Looks like, I think that's an EMR that's behind him, or it could be a GRM, not 100% sure. But now rounding through Lovefield we go as we round Woodcote. Palmer crosses the line, remains where he is at this stage. That was Latifi just going back into the pits. Russell we now look at in the Martini as he goes into Lovefield A and B on the track. So let's see what George Russell is able to accomplish then on this lap as he rounds Woodcote. And Russell now then crosses the line. Is this going to be an improvement? It isn't. He remains P5 at this stage. Seta Kamara stays in P6. As now we try and find somebody else on the lap. Schumacher's about to start one a little bit. We look at Robin Frins now then in the GRM as he rounds Club Corner. And now up towards Abbey we will now go as he now is 4 tenths down in the second sector. Frins down in 17th place. So I don't think it's going to be an improvement, but we will wait and see as he now negotiates through Priory and Brooklands. As now out of Brooklands we go and around Lovefield A and then B. As now he goes up towards Woodcote on the track. Frins is going to cross the line. Is this going to be an improvement? It isn't. He remains in P17 with that lap there. Then Hasberg currently 11th. Let's see what he's able to do as he rounds the final corner and onto the pit straight he will go. Is this going to be an improvement then for Ferdinand Hasberg as he now crosses the line? And no improvement, stays in P11 at this stage. So that's that for him. Schumacher currently on a lap, but is there anybody else behind Hasberg doing a lap? I don't think there is. So we'll try and get back now then to Schumacher. There he is in the AMP. Recently got released from Academy, as you remember, for poor performances in GP2. And now just occupied with being the AMP test driver. Whether somebody will snap him up for GP2 next season, though, we will wait and see. As Schumacher now then goes flat through Abbey. And now down towards Bridge Corner, towards Priory and Brooklands. And now down towards the section of corners we will go on the track. Up towards Brooklands as he will now go up towards Lovefield 1 and 2. Let's see if Schumacher is able to improve. Schumacher currently 16th at the moment in the AMP. His teammate Ferrucci up in 4th place. Schumacher now then rounds Woodcote and across the line goes Schumacher and he improves to go up to 10th. So he gets into the top 10. Schumacher up into 10th place at this stage. Armstrong about to start up. Here's Robin Frins. Across the line goes the GRM driver and he remains P17 at this stage. So that's that for him really as we look at Santino Ferrucci, who will now approach the flat out left-hander. 200s down in the second sector. Doesn't look to be on improvement and it looks like that GRM is going to be holding him up a bit as they head down through Bridge Corner. I believe that is, I think that's Frins that's holding him up at this stage. I could be wrong, but I think it might be Frins, or it could be Jordan King. In fact, it is Jordan King. Jordan King's about to start a lap in a little bit as Ferrucci now then goes around Lovefield A and B. So let's see if Ferrucci can improve as he exits out of Lovefield through Woodcote. And can he pull some form of miracle in the last sector? No, he can't. Remains in P4 at this stage. Rosenquist on the lap, currently third, looking to try and get back to the top if he can as he rounds Brooklands. And then up towards Lovefield A and B on the track we will go. And let's see what Felix Rosenquist can achieve as he rounds the final few corners. And I don't know if that was a little bit of tyre squirrel there coming from Rosenquist as he now rounds Woodcote across the line. No improvement, stays third for the moment as Kvyat behind starts a lap. Kari also starting one as well. Marcus Armstrong in the Mars Grand Prix car rounds these final few corners as he rounds Woodcote. And across the line will go Marcus Armstrong and he improves but stays in 22nd. Still 1.4 off the pace in this young driver's test. Here's King, but looks like he's being held up by Artem Markulov. He's about to start a lap in a little bit as they go flat through the left hand. The 7 tenths down in the middle sector goes Jordan King as he now rounds Bridge Corner before approaching Priory and Brooklands. And King breaking down into these section of corners And then up towards Brooklands we will go. And let's see if King can improve. It looks like he might not be able to because of Markilov holding him up. Markilov preparing to start his next flying lap. Under 40 minutes remaining in this young driver's test here at Silverstone. So the minutes counting down very quickly, it must be said, in this test. As now King rounds Woodcote. Is this going to be an improvement? No, it's not. It remains where he is at this stage. Kvyat on a lap in the Bud Light line. Kvyat currently 13th. Let's see if he can improve either way now then as he rounds Brooklands. And now up in towards Lovefield A and B on the track. Let's see what Kvyat can achieve now then as he rounds the final few corners. Onto the pit straight we will go as Kvyat now then crosses the line. And he remains where he is at this stage. Kari also remaining where he is at the moment. Marcus Armstrong on another lap in the Mars Grand Prix car, looking to try and gain a little bit more time on this lap. But can he? Round Woodcote, across the line goes Marcus Armstrong, and he does improve a little bit more, but now he's 1.2 seconds back, so he's gained 2 more tenths, but still over a second behind the rest of the pack. His teammate Joseph Newgarden rounds Woodcote, and Newgarden crosses the line, remains 21st at this stage, still not able to overhaul NASA at this stage. Callum Elott crosses the line, remains P8 at this stage of testing. Patrick Ajala heads down towards Woodcote, and across the line he will go. And he goes P20, still remains where he is at the moment, sorry, which is P16, off the pace from teammate Kari. So now we look at Alexander Albon. Can he improve? The Thailand driver, who in real life is battling for the Formula 2 Championship. Albon rounds Woodcote, and across the line he will go, and he remains in P7 at this stage. Markilov doesn't improve, nor does Jordan King. As here is Daniel Kvyat around Prix. He will approach as he will go up towards Woodcote. And let's see if Kvyat can find some pace as he rounds the final few corners on the track. Kvyat round the final corner and onto the pit straight we will go. And Kvyat now then is going to cross the line. And let's see if this will be an improvement for Danny Kvyat. And it is. He goes up to 12th place, but still not in the top 10. Kari doesn't improve behind. A few cars about to start laps. Anybody else on a lap at this stage? Yes, Artem Markilov on a lap in the Etihad as he now approaches Vale and Club as he rounds the section of corners. And Markilov now then out of the corner he will go, missing the little bit of curb on the outside before going flat through the left-hander. 1/10 down in the second sector. Could be on for an improvement, but we'll wait and see how he hooks up the last sector in this Etihad. Just outside the top 10 at the moment is Artem Markilov, teammate Seti Kamara, currently 6th at this stage. As now we go through Brooklands, up towards Lovefield A and B we go. And let's see what Markilov can do. Is he on for an improvement? The Russian now then rounds these final few corners and onto the pit straight we go, round Woodcote. And Markilov now then crosses the line and he remains in P11. So that's where he stays at this stage. Will Palmer now then across the line he will go, and he stays in P18 for the moment. As now we look at Christian Lundgaard's about to start a lap, I should say. Here's JR Hildebrand, 1/10 down in the second sector. Where's Hildebrand at the moment? Hildebrand down in 19th, so Hildebrand is on for an improvement in the Bud Light line, but we'll wait and see what he can do now then as he rounds these final few corners up towards the Brooklands, and then approaching the Lovefield now then, Lovefield A and B. Around the final few corners then goes JR Hildebrand as he'll now head down the pit straight, and across the line goes Hildebrand, and let's see what he's able to achieve. And he goes up to 12, so up to P12 goes Hildebrand, outpacing teammate Kvyat at this stage of testing. So Latifi didn't improve, he stays second place, still 1,000 behind Nikita Mazepin. Speaking of Mazepin, here he is as he rounds the Lovefield now then, and approaching Woodcote. Nikita Mazepin crosses the line and he improves to go to a 1 minute 19.186, so he's now 300 in front of Latifi. Mazepin improves at the top of this session, so that's that really at this stage. Here is Will Palmer rounding Brooklands before approaching Lovefield A and B. And now through towards the final corner and up to the pit straight before approaching Woodcote. And Will Palmer now then is going to cross the line, and he improves but stays in 19th position, still a little bit in front of teammate Felipe Nasr. As we look at Christian Lundgaard, who's trying to get up close to teammate Nikita Mazepin. round the final few corners, and around Woodcote we will go. And Lundgaard crosses the line and goes up to 16th place. So Christian Lundgaard up to that position. Was there somebody behind him at this stage? I don't think there was. There's a few cars about to start a lap. Here's Nicholas Latifi in the EMR, looking to try and find now 300ths of a second to try and get back to the top in front of Nikita Mazepin. Latifi now then rounding the final corner and onto the pit straight we will go, as he will now approach Woodcote. And Latifi now then looks like he's made a mistake, in fact, because that's a poor lap, 5.7 off Nikita, so he remains second for the moment in this session. So now Nasser about to start a lap, and it said Massa there. As George Russell on a lap as he goes around Stowe Corner. Russell currently 5th at the moment in the Martini. So now he rounds the section of corners before heading down towards Vale and Club. Let's see what George Russell can do then on this lap as he rounds the right-hander of Club Corner up towards the flat-out Abbey. And he's 300s off. 300s off Mazepin in the second sector there. But he is 600s overall behind Mazepin in this session. So let's see if Russell can find some improvement in the car as he rounds the final few corners now then. Up towards Luffield A and B then goes George Russell. And let's see what he's able to do now then as he rounds the final corner and onto the pit straight we will go. As he rounds Woodcote. And across the line goes George Russell, and he improves to go up to 3rd. So Russell into the top 3. So up to P3 goes George Russell. Hasberg crosses the line and goes up to 12th. So Hasberg improves there. Ferrucci starting a lap. Latifi back in. Here is Felipe Nasr, 1.6 off. So he's having a horrible lap, it must be said. I don't know if he's made a mistake either, because he's overall 9/10 behind Mazepin's fastest time, or 1 minute 19.186. So Nasr approaches the final few corners, and let's see what Felipe Nasr is able to achieve now then as he rounds the final corner and around Woodcote. Nasr across the line he will go, and he remains where he is at the moment, which is P20. So that's that for him. Here's Sergio Sette Camara as he rounds the next corner on the track and around Woodcote, and across the line goes Sergio Sette Camara, and he remains where he is at this stage. So that's that. So Schumacher goes up to P6. So up to P6 goes Mick Schumacher, and improving there as he's now placed behind Ferrucci. Frins doesn't improve, remains where he is at this stage. Rosenquist currently 4th. Let's see what the GP2 Championship leader can do as he now rounds Luffield B, and up towards Woodcote will go Rosenquist. As we got a yellow flag and it's up at Maggots and Beckett's. Rosenquist doesn't improve. What has happened down at Maggots? And oh my goodness me, Kari's had a rollover. Kari has rolled the car over. He's made contact with Mick Schumacher through into Beckett's, and a huge crash has developed into Beckett's corner. And we need to look at that again. As you can see, Kari came out of the pit. Schumacher trying to find a way through, and Kari just wasn't expecting to see him at that stage, and has Schumacher sustained some damage? It doesn't appear like it. It looks like Kari is okay, it seems. It's not as big as the rollover we had yesterday, but yeah, if Kari wants to improve in this session, he's going to have to make a trip to the pits as Schumacher now tries to find a gap in the traffic. As we go around, as a few cars go around those section of corners, if we look on board with Mick Schumacher as he's able to get the car going again, but that's that really as he rounds those section of corners, as Schumacher rejoins as his teammate just goes around now those section of corners, as the yellow flags are still out as they're attempting to clear Kari's car there, and they've been able to do so that time. Kvyat on a lap as Ferrucci is up in the first sector, so Ferrucci looking to challenge Mazepin at the top of the timing sheets. Now we look at a few cars if we can, trying to find the next person who's on lap. That would be Marcus Armstrong in the Mars Grand Prix car, 8/10 off in the second sector. So we'll have to wait and see if the Kiwi is able to make an improvement as we go through Luffield, as we go through Priory, and then up into Brooklands, and now up towards Luffield A. we will go. And I've just realised as well, Latifi and Russell have got identical times, it must be said. So they're both 300ths, 0.039 behind Nikita Mazepin. So Armstrong crosses the line and remains in 22nd. So New Gun starts the lap, his teammate behind him. Here is Ferrucci. Let's see if he can try and challenge Mazepin to the top. Santino, Ferrucci and Rouse would go and across the line, and he goes fastest. So Ferrucci now goes to the top. He beats Mazepin with a 1 minute 19.115. Ferrucci now the new fastest man in this young drivers test. Daniel Kvyat now then we look at as he goes around Woodcote. Kvyat now then crosses the line, and he goes up to 9th, so he gets himself into the top 10. As here is Jordan King in the GRM as he rounds Club Corner. Just over half an hour of the session remaining. So we go flat through Abbey. 3 tenths down in the second sector. So we'll see if there is going to be an improvement for Jordan King. We'll wait and see as he rounds Priory and Brooklands. So around Brooklands will go Jordan King as I'll now go up towards Luffield A and B. Around the final few corners on the track we go. Around the final corner and onto the pit straight before approaching Woodcote. And King now then crosses the line. Is this going to be an improvement? It is. He goes up to 13th place. Up to P13 goes Jordan King. Here's Callum Elott in the Martini. Elott now then will cross the line. And he remains where he is at this stage, which is P10. So that's that for him really. As we now look at Marcus Armstrong. Going around Woodcote. Armstrong does not improve, and nor does teammate New Gun. Like New Gun got held up by his teammate at that stage. So now we'll look for somebody else on a lap. That would be Patrick Ajala in the Suomi. As there is where his teammate had his crash with Mick Schumacher just a little bit earlier on. As Kari now goes through Beckett and then down into Chapel. And let's see what his first sector is like. He's 1/10 off Ferrucci in the first sector. Kajala currently 17th in this young drivers test as they round Stowe Corner now then on the track. Around they go now then before approaching Vale and Club. Into the left hander we go, and Kajala will now go around Club Corner as he just exits out of the corner now then before approaching the next few corners on the track. Round for the flat out left hander at Abbey, and it does look like Kajala might be on for an improvement as he was only 3 tenths down in the second sector. So let's see what Kajala can do on this lap. Around Priory goes the young Finn before he approaches Brooklands. And now up towards Luffield A and B on the track we will go. Around the right hander before approaching the last few corners now then before approaching the flat out Woodcote. And Kajala now then crosses the line. Is this going to be an improvement? And it is, but he remains 17th, so he's now only 5 tenths back from Ferrucci. New Gun doesn't improve, remains in 21st position. Does the current GP3 Championship leader. Markilov now then rounds Woodcote. Is Artem Markilov looking at an improvement? No, he's not. He remains P12 at this stage of testing. As we look at Alexander Albon, who goes flat through Bridge Corner. And let's see what Albon is able to do as he rounds Priory. I think that's his teammate behind. Yes, it is. Both EMRs on a lap. Latifi also on a flying lap. It's now around Brooklands and then through Luffield A and B on the track we will go. And let's see what Alexander Albon can do as he will now approach Woodcote. And Albon is going to cross the line. And he improves and goes up to 7th place to get in front of Seti Kamara. Latifi doesn't. He remains 3rd in this session. Nikita Mazepin, can he try and get back to the top in front of Ferrucci now then, as he will now go around Woodcote. Nikita Mazepin crosses the line and he doesn't. He remains P2 at this stage. Here is JR Hildebrand in the Bud Light line. His teammate is up in 9th. Let's see if Hildebrand can get up close to that. Hildebrand crosses the line and remains in P number 15 at this stage of the young drivers test. Will Palmer rounds Woodcote and across the line he goes, and he remains where he is at this stage, which is P19 in this session. New gone into the pits as there is Markilov's teammate Seti Kamara as Markilov's going back into the pits. Nazar out there as well. As now we look at Christian Lundgaard in the Monster as he goes out of Brooklands, as we have just over 26 minutes of this session remaining from this young drivers test at Silverstone. As now approaching Luffield A and B on the track. As Lundgaard Around Luffield A and around Luffield B we will go. And let's see if Lundgaard is able to make an improvement. Round Woodcote, and across the line goes the young Dane, and no he doesn't, he remains P16 for the moment in this session. As now we look at Will Palmer in the shadow there then, as he comes out of club corner, as he will now approach Abbey, as he's 5 tenths down in the second sector. And now around Bridge Corner we go before approaching Priory and Brooklands. And let's see what Will Palmer is able to do then on this lap. And now towards Luffield A and B on the track. Let's see then, Will Palmer rounds the final few corners as he will now head down the pit straight. And across the line goes the younger brother of Jolyon. Palmer crosses the line and remains in 19th position. So that's that for him. Hasberg starting a lap, as will George Russell, as we look at Sergio Sette Camara in the Etihad, as he will now approach Luffield A and B. And let's see what Sergio Sette Camara is able to do now then, as he will approach Woodcote. And Camara now then across the line. Will the Brazilian make an improvement? No, he doesn't. He remains P8 at this stage, as his teammates down in 12th. Nasser improves but stays P20, still behind Will Palmer at this stage. Robin Frins 5 tenths down in the second sector. Frins, where is Frins at the moment? He's 6 tenths behind, so I don't think the young Dutchman is on for an improvement, but we will wait and see, as he will now approach Brooklands. And now up towards Luffield A and B on the track will go Robin Frins, and let's see what he's able to produce now then. Around these final few corners we go, as he will now approach Woodcote. And Frins now then is about to cross the line, and he does not improve. He remains where he is at this stage. As Felix Rosenqvist just goes around those section of corners, and now around the next the last few corners on the track as he starts his lap. Will Palmer going into the pits. Here's Ferdinand Hasberg, Rosenqvist's teammate for today. Let's see if he can improve from 14th place. The man that's challenging for the GP3 Championship. Hasberg crosses the line and he remains in 14th place at this stage as Ferrucci starts the lap. As Russell remains P4, so that's that for him. Felipe Nasser, as we ride on board with the shadow driver as he goes around these Luffield corners. And let's see what Nasser is able to produce as he will now come around Woodcote. And across the line goes the young Brazilian. And he improves again, but still remains P20. He's now just over 10th behind teammate Will Palmer. As now we look for another guy on the lap. That would be Felix Rosenqvist, currently 5th at this stage. So far then, with just over 23 minutes to go, this is what the leaderboard looks like then. It's Ferrucci top, with Mazepin in 2nd, Latifi 3rd, Russell 4th, Rosenqvist 5th, Schumacher 6th, Albon 7th, Sette Camara in 8th, Kvyat 9th, Elot 10th, Kari 11th, Markilov 12th, King 13th, Hasberg 14th, Hildebrand 15th, Lundgaard 16th, Kashala 17th, Frins 18th, Palmer 19th, Nasser 20th, Newgarden 21st, and Armstrong in 22nd position. Here is Felix Rosenqvist then as he rounds Brooklands, as he will go up towards Luffield 1 and 2. I don't know if his teammate behind Ferdinand Hasberg is on another lap. Round the final few corners and onto the pit straight before approaching Woodcote. Rosenqvist now then goes across the line and he does not improve, remains where he is at this stage. Hasberg going back into the pits. Ferrucci, can he improve on his current fastest time? Ferrucci crosses the line and no he doesn't, remains on the 1 minute 19.115. So Russell stays 4th. Teammate Elot about to start a lap. Here comes Mick Schumacher in the AMP as he just goes out of the final corner. Round Woodcote, and Schumacher now then crosses the line and he remains in 6th place at this stage. So now Kvyat rounds those section of corners. Round the left-hander goes Kvyat as he will approach Luffield A and B on the track. And let's see what Daniel Kvyat will be able to produce this time by. Round the final corner and onto the pit straight as he will round Woodcote. Kvyat now then across the line and he remains where he is at this stage. Jordan King doesn't improve, remains where he is at this stage. Armstrong crosses the line, remains in 22nd position. Newgarden about to start a lap. Here comes Nico Kari in the Suomi as he goes around the final corners. And Kari now then crosses the line in the Suomi and remains in P number... Where is he? P number... Well, he's in the spare car because he obviously crashed a little earlier on. Kari is 11th, so that's that at the moment. Michael off about to start up. Here's Callum Elott in the Martini. Elott currently in the cusp of the top 10. Let's see what Callum Elott can do as he rounds the final few corners onto the pit straight before approaching Woodcote, and Elott will now cross the line and he remains in 10th place. So Callum Elott remaining where he is at this stage. Here's Jordan King rounding Abbey, and King now then will go down towards Bridge Corner on the track before approaching Priory and Brooklands. And coming up towards Brooklands, we will go on the track as we have just over 20 minutes of this young driver's test remaining. King rounds these final few corners, round the final corner and onto the pit straight before approaching Woodcote, and King is now going to cross the line. Let's see what he's able to do, and he doesn't improve, remains in 13th place. So that's that for him at this stage. Armstrong rounds Woodcote, and he remains where he is at the moment. Here comes Joseph Newgarden around Woodcote. He will go, and he does not improve. Patrick Ajala doesn't improve either, nor will, as Albon starts the lap, as will Palmer. As we look at Artem Markelov in the Etihad, as he rounds Bridge Corner now then, as let's see what Artem Markelov can do as he rounds Priory and then up into Brooklands. And now up towards Luffield A and B on the track. As looks like a Martini's also doing a lap behind. I would presume that's Russell. Round the final corner goes Artem Markelov as he heads down the pit straight, and across the line goes the young Russian. Markelov does not improve, remains where he is at this stage. It was Elott and he was coming into the pits. Anyway, Kajala's on a lap in the Suomi. Just under 20 minutes now left in the session. So here is a reminder of what the leaderboard currently looks like at this stage. Santino Ferrucci fastest, Nikita Mazepin second, Nicholas Latifi third, George Russell fourth, Felix Rosenqvist in fifth, with Mick Schumacher sixth, Alexander Albon 7th, Sergio Seti Camara in 8th, Daniel Kvyat 9th, Callum Elott 10th, Nico Kari 11th, with Artem Markelov 12th, Jordan King 13th, Hasberg 14th, JL Hildebrand 15th, Christian Lundgaard in 16th, Patrick Ajala 17th, Robin Frins in 18th, Will Palmer 19th, Felipe Nasr 20th, Joseph Newgarden 21st, and Marcus Armstrong in 22nd position. Kajala now then rounds these final few corners, and let's see what Patrick Kajala is able to do as he rounds Woodcote. And across the line he will go, and he remains where he is at the moment, which is P17. So that's that for him. Is Will Palmer as he rounds Bridge Corner now then before approaching Priory and Brooklands. So Markelov about to start. I think he's on a lap, or is he going back into the pits? He's going back into the pits. Palmer now then out of Brooklands before approaching Luffield A and B. And let's see what Will Palmer is able to produce on this lap now then. Around Luffield 2. Up towards Woodcote, and Palmer crosses the line. Will this be an improvement for him? No, it's not. Remains 19th for the moment. Mazepin about to start another lap, as Liz Latifi and Lundgaard and Hildebrand. Kajala back with him in the Suomi, down in 17th place. His teammate up in 11th. And here at Silverstone, it has treated us very nicely with this young driver's test, and we look forward to doing this as more often as possible. And so far, Ferrucci in front by 700ths of a second ahead of Nikita Mazepin. Mazepin on another lap at this stage, looking to try and overhaul him as he can. Same as Nicholas Latifi, he's on another lap in the EMR as he just goes around Brooklands before approaching Luffield A and B on the track. And let's see what Patrick Kajala is able to do as he will go around Woodcote, and Kajala now then crosses the line and goes up to 16th, so an improvement for Kajala to get up to P16 with that lap there. Then Kamara about to start a lap, as will Russell. Here's Will Palmer again doing another flying lap as he rounds Brooklands. Looks like Nikita Mazepin is behind. Luckily for him, Mazepin isn't being held up by Will Palmer's shadow. So that will be that really as we go through Luffield A and B. Let's see what Will Palmer is able to do this time by as he heads through in towards Woodcote, and Palmer now then across the line he will go, and he remains in P number 19 as Mazepin remains second. Nicholas Latifi remains third in this session. Christian Lundgaard in the monster car remains 17th off the pace from teammate Nikita Mazepin. JL Hildebrand stays 15th at this stage. Is Felipe Nasr, currently 20th, as he will now round the left-hander, as he's now 7/10 down in the second sector. So it looks like Nasr isn't on for an improvement at this stage, as he rounds the left-hander and up towards the left-hander on the track. And now in towards left field A and B we will go. And let's see what Nasr can produce this time by, as he rounds the final corner and up towards Woodcote. And across the line goes Nasr, and he remains P20 at the moment with that time. Seti Kamara rounds Woodcote, and Kamara crosses the line, stays P8 behind Albon, as Ferrucci starts another lap. Robin Friends about to start one as well. George Russell, I don't know if Friends has held him up, but we'll wait and see. Around Woodcote, and George Russell crosses the line and remains in P4 at the moment in this session, as Hasberg starts a lap. Schumacher just starts a lap himself, as we now look at Nikita Mazepin round Woodcote, and Mazepin stays where he is at the moment, which is P2, so not able to overhaul Ferrucci at the moment. As here is Felix Rosenqvist, as he will start a lap very soon. Felipe Nasr rounds Club Corner, currently 20th, looking to overhaul teammate Will Power. So Will Palmer, wrong Will there, as he's 6 attempts down in the second sector. So better middle sector than what it was on his previous flying lap there, but whether that will be enough to overhaul Palmer, we'll wait and see. 15 minutes now remaining, just over 15 minutes to go in this session to determine where everybody will place in this young drivers test at Silverstone, as Nasr rounds left field A and B. Let's see what Felipe Nasr can do, as he'll now go down towards Woodcote, and Nasr crosses the line, and he does not improve. Nasr stays in P20 at the moment in this session, as Ferrucci remains P1, still on the 1 minute 19.115, as Friends now then, wrong F, as now Russell looks like he's definitely getting held up by Robin Friends as GRM. Round Woodcote, Friends doesn't improve, and nor does George Russell behind. Ferdinand Hasberg across the line goes the Austrian, and no improvement for him. He remains P14 at this stage. Still 6th for Mick Schumacher, as a few more cars go into pits. Felix Rosenqvist on the lap, currently 5th at this stage, is the current GP2 Championship leader, as he rounds Club Corner, as he'll go flat through the left-hander, as he's 800ths down in the second sector. So he could be off an improvement, but nothing to overhaul the top 2 at this stage. He could place himself in, well, could still be 5th, it could be 3rd, or it could be still 5th, but equal to Latifi and Russell, but we will wait and see. Round towards Brooklands, just over 14 minutes to go in this young drivers test. Around left field 2, as Rosenqvist now goes down the pit straight towards Woodcote, and Rosenqvist crosses the line. Is this going to be an improvement? It isn't. He loses time in the last sector and remains P5 in this young drivers test. Here's the current man at the top, Santino Ferrucci. Let's see if Ferrucci is able to improve, as he goes down the pit straight towards Woodcote, and Ferrucci now then crosses the line, and he improves a little bit more with a 1 minute 19.044. So he's now 1/10 clear of Mazepin, 0.142 to be exact. So Ferrucci improves on that lap there then. As meantime, here's Mick Schumacher, who rounds the final corner himself, as he now just goes around Woodcote, and Schumacher crosses the line, remains in 6th position. So that's that for him really. Kari doesn't improve, is about to do a lap, as is King and Newgarden. Newgarden's teammate Armstrong 1 second down in the second sector, so I don't know if that's going to be enough for an improvement. We'll wait and see how his Mars Grand Prix is set up for this last sector now then. Round Priory we will go before approaching Brooklands, and Armstrong now then, around he will go, and that's that really as far as they are concerned. Round left field A and B, as now down towards the pitch straight towards Woodcote, and Armstrong crosses the line, and no improvement, remains 20 seconds still behind teammate Joseph Newgarden. Callum Elott down in the second sector, I don't know by how much, I only just caught a glimpse of that but wasn't able to picture what the numbers said. Round Priory, and then up towards Brooklands will go the young Brit of Callum Elott, as now up towards Priory and Brooklands. Let's see what Callum Elot can do now then. Around the final corner and up towards Woodcote. As Elot now then will cross the line. As Elot does not improve. Remains P10 for the moment in this session. Markilov will go around Woodcote. And Markilov about to start a lap. As here comes Daniel Kafiat around Woodcote. Kafiat, can he improve? No, he doesn't. He remains 9th in this session. Still for Nico Kari. It's Jordan King rounds these final few corners. King currently 13th, outpacing teammate Robin Friends. As King now then rounds the final corner and around Woodcote. Jordan King across the line he will go, and he remains where he is at the moment, which is P13. New Garden now then rounds Lovefield A and B on the track. Let's see what Joseph Newgarden can achieve as he will go around Woodcote. And across the line goes the Mars Grand Prix car, and Newgarden remains 21st, still not able to get in front of NASA at this stage. Marcus Armstrong stays 22nd and last at the moment in this session. Markilov, let's see what his second sector is like. He's 1/10 down in the second sector, so I believe that Markilov is actually on an improvement. We'll wait and see how much of an improvement it's going to be now then, as the Russian goes around Priory and up to Brooklands he will go. And Artem Markilov up towards Lovefield A and B he will go on the track as he rounds the section of corners. Around the final corner and onto the pit straight we will go before approaching Woodcote. And Markilov now then crosses the line. And does he improve? He does. He goes up to 7th. So outpaces Sati Kamara. And up into 7th place goes Artem Markilov. Latifi about to start a lap. Here is Joseph Newgarden. 6 attempts down in the second sector. Might be on for an improvement, but we'll wait and see. Rounds Woodcote. Just over 10 minutes now to go in the session. Before the end of the Young Drivers Test here at Silverstone for this season. As we're 2 minutes away from the 5 o'clock mark. Up towards Lovefield A and B we will go. And as we've got a checkered flag for somebody, Jordan King gets the checkered flag next to his name, so his session is slowly coming to a close. Joseph Newgarden rounds Woodcote. Is this going to be an improvement? It isn't. He remains 21st with that lapse of still second to last for the current GP3 Championship leader. Albon made a mistake coming out of Lovefield there, but let's see what his time's going to be. He doesn't improve and remains 8th at this stage. Here is Patrick Kajala as he rounds Woodcote. Kajala crosses the line and remains P16 at this stage. Hildebrand and Lundgaard about to start a lap. Here is Nicholas Latifi in the EMR. So he goes flat through Abbey. So now down towards Bridge Corner we will go before approaching Priory and Brooklands. And let's see now then, round Priory and then up in towards Brooklands Corner. And let's see what Nicholas Latifi is able to produce as we go around Lovefield A and B on the track. As Latifi heads down the back straight towards Woodcote. Latifi remains 3rd at this stage. Mazepin starts the lap behind, currently 2nd behind Ferrucci. Palmer stays 19th and gets the checkered flag next to his name, so his session is coming to a close very soon. Here's JR Hildebrand in the Bud Light Lime, 4 attempts down in the second sector. I don't think he's on for an improvement because he's overall 0.501 behind Santino Ferrucci, but we'll wait and see. Anyway, through Priory goes JR Hildebrand before he approaches Brooklands on the track, and let's see what Hildebrand is able to produce now then. As somebody else with a checkered flag next to their name, Joseph Newgarden's session has come to a close as he gets the checkered flag as mentioned next to his name. JR Hildebrand approaches Woodcote and Hildebrand crosses the line and remains in 15th place. So I wonder if he'll be done in a little bit. Christian Lundgaard in the Monster rounds Woodcote and he will now cross the line to go up to 14th. So an improvement for Lundgaard. He's up to 14th place with that lap there. Then NASA about to start a lap as we look at Nikita Mazepin. I don't know if Nicholas Latifi in front of him is holding him up. We'll wait and see. Up towards Lovefield A and B on the track we will go. And around the final corner and onto the pit straight. Latifi goes into the pits. Let's see if Mazepin can improve. Anyway, across the line and no improvement. He remains in 2nd place but he's doing another flying lap. Anyway, still 19th for Palmer, and that's his session done with. As mentioned, he has the checkered flag next to his name. As here is J.R. Hildebrand going back into the pits himself. A few cars going into the pits. Here's Felipe Nasr then on a lap in the shadow as he goes through Chapel. Let's see what his second sector is like. And he's 3 tenths down in the second sector. Currently overall that's a New Gardens, 0.0967 behind Santina Ferrucci. Just over 7 minutes now to go in this young driver's test as Nasr goes through Vale and Club. Rounding the right-hander we will go. So they just go out of those section of corners before approaching the left-hander at Abbey. And so now up towards Bridge Corner, down towards Bridge Corner I should say, before approaching Priory and Brooklands. And so around the left-hander they go now then. And let's see what Nasr can do on this lap as he will approach Lovefield. A and B on the track is Nasr. Offering Bruno, we've got a yellow flag, it's up at Copse. What's happened down at Copse Corner? Has somebody made a mistake? Is it Robin Friends by any chance? And yes it is. Friends has gone for a spin down at Copse Corner. And has he sustained any damage at all? No, very lucky. But has he beached the car in any way, shape or form? So a spin there for Robin Friends coming off the exit of Copse Corner. As now we look at Felipe Nasr. Can he improve? And no, he can't. He remains in P21. As we've got another yellow flag down at Copse Corner. No, it's still Friends. He was struggling to get the car moving, but he's able to get going now then. I thought for a minute there somebody else had spun down at Copse Corner there. As we now look at Sergio Sete Camara in the Etihad. As he rounds Woodcote, is this going to be an improvement for the young Brazilian? Camara crosses the line, and he is, but he stays P9 with that lap there, so not able to gain any positions that time by. Here is George Russell as he rounds the final corner, and let's see what George is able to do as he rounds Woodcote. Russell crosses the line and he stays where he is at the moment, which is P4. So that's that for George Russell. Mick Schumacher crosses the line, stays where he is at this stage. Ferrucci starting a lap as here is Felix Rosenquist, who rounds the right-hander before approaching Woodcote. And Rosenquist now then heads down the pit straight to start his next flying lap, as will Kvyat behind him. Ferdinand Hasberg rounds Woodcote. Is this going to be an improvement for the Austrian? And it isn't. He remains P15 with that lap. No improvement for the GP2 title contender. As now we look at Robin Friends. Armstrong in front has just started a lap around the final corner and up towards Woodcote we go, as Friends about to complete a lap that was ruined after he spun off at Copse. Let's see the lap anyway. 140.201 just shows how much he lost there. Nasr doesn't improve in the shadow, remains where he is at the moment. So now we look at Nico Kari, who heads down the hill towards Bridge Corner as he will now approach Priory and Brooklands. And Kari now then up towards the left-hander we will go. Up towards Lovefield A and B on the track. As Kari now then will negotiate round these section of corners. Around the final corner and onto the pit straight we will go before going around Woodcote. And across the line goes Kari to start his next flying lap. Ferrucci, can he improve on his current fastest time with a 1:19.044? He goes around Woodcote, and the young American is now going to cross the line, and no improvement remains on a 1:19.044, and he gets the checkered flag next to his name. He's got the pit board, so that's his session come to a close. I think Will Nello will be very happy with his performance today. Rosenquist remains 5th with that lap. Elot about to start a lap. Kvyat stays in P9 with that lap there. Then Markelov about to start a lap. Here is Marcus Armstrong in the Mars Grand Prix car. He rounds the final corner. Currently 22nd. Can he try and overhaul teammate Joseph Newgarden as they go around Woodcote? And no improvement remains. 22nd with that lap there then. As now we look at Nico Kari. As King now gets the checkered flag next to his name, as does Hasberg. As does Marcus Armstrong. So a few guys getting checkered flags. So the guys with checkered flags are Santino Ferrucci, Jordan King, Ferdinand Hasberg, now Will Palmer, Felipe Nasr, Joseph Newgarden and Marcus Armstrong. So there are guys with checkered flags, meaning their session has come to a close. As now up towards Brooklands we will go, up towards Lovefield A and B. And let's see what car he can do on this flying lap as he rounds the final corner, and onto the pit straight we will go. As he rounds Woodcote, the Finn now then crosses the line, and no improvement remains in P12 at the moment. A few cars coming out of the pit lane there then. Here is Callum Elott in the Martini, just over 3 minutes to go in this young driver's test, as he's got a Bud Light line behind. I wonder if he's doing a lap or coming back into the pits. We'll wait and see. Round the final corner goes Callum Elott, and let's see what Elott is able to do as he rounds Woodcote, and no improvement remains where he is at this stage. Daniel Kvyat stays in 9th place as Rosenquist gets the checkered flag next to his name. Artem Markilov in the Etihad crosses the line and stays 7th with that lap, gets the checkered flag next to his name. Marcus Armstrong stays 22nd on his final flying lap. As now anybody else on a lap doesn't appear like it, so we wait for somebody else to cross the line to start a lap. That would be Alexander Albon in the EMR. As he now goes around Woodcote, Albon looking to try and get up close to teammate Latifi, who's up in 3rd place at this stage. Up towards Cup's corner we go. And around the first corner then goes Albon. Just missing the curb on the outside before approaching Maggots and Beckett's. And Kvyat gets the checkered flag next to his name, so his session has now come to a close. And around the second part of Beckett's through to Chapel. Let's see what Albon's second sector is like. And he's 1/10 down in the second sector at the moment, as he'll go up now towards Stowe Corner. Oh, and now he's lost the back end. Albon has gone for a spin down at Stowe in similar fashion to what Nico Hulkenberg did one week ago at the British Grand Prix. And he loses the back end going into Stowe Corner, and that's his lap effectively ruined as a result, as he now waits for a clear, for some clearing in the traffic. So he now loses the back end through into Stowe Corner there, and that's Albon's lap effectively ruined. I think that's now the second mistake we've seen today from him as a result. As mentioned, looking to try and get a clearing in the traffic there then. So that's that, as Albon tries to get it moving, as still waiting for a load of cars to go by. Albon having to wait for Russell to go by now then, and maybe he could get a clearing after he's gone. And in fact, has he beached the car, or is he's waiting for Seti Kamara? I'm not 100% sure, as we have under a minute left and he's given up. So Albon back to the pits, and that'll be him done then really, because there's only under a minute left in the session. I apologise if you hear my dog in the background, being the troll dog as she is. Meantime now then, it didn't look like James. Matt's here. Sorry if you heard that. And sorry about that, as the checkered flag has now come out, and that means it is the end of the session. A lot of guys with checkered flags next to their name, sorry if you heard that. As they go around into the pits goes Kashala, and as you can see there, Russell having a little bit of understeer going through into Priory, so that didn't quite help out for him there then, as he's about to finish his next flying lap. Round towards these final few corners then will go George Russell, as he just goes out of the final corner, round towards Woodcote, and Russell now then crosses the line. Can he improve? I don't think he will because of that understeer, and he doesn't. He remains in P number 4, I would think. So that's that for him, really. So now coming around Cop's corner as Schumacher's about to start his final flying lap, because that's how X-Patch usually works. And so now up towards Brooklands, as they'll now go down up towards Luffield A and B. And Friends now then. Can he improve in the GRM? And around Woodcote, and Friends now then is going to cross the line. And Friends does not improve and remains in 18th position. And meantime, Schumacher is the last man to do a flying lap as everybody else is finished off. So let's see what Schumacher can do then on his final flying lap as he comes out of club corner. As he'll now go down towards Abbey. And so now round towards the flat out towards the bridge corner there. He just came out of through Priory and Brooklands. As now Schumacher will approach these last few corners on the track. And Schumacher now then round Luffield A and B. And let's see, can he improve from 6th place? Let's have a look as he goes down at the pit straight now then through Woodcote. And across the line we will go. And Schumacher remains in 6th place. No improvement for him. And that, I think, will do it. That is everybody done for this Young Drivers Test. So after all of that, here is the results of the Young Drivers Test here at Silverstone. It was Ferrucci fastest with Mazepin in 2nd, Latifi 3rd, Russell 4th, Rosenquist 5th, Schumacher 6th, Markelov 7th, Albon 8th, Seti Kamara 9th, Kvyat 10th, Elot 11th, Kari 12th, King 13th, Lundgaard 14th, Hasberg 15th, Hildebrand 16th, Kjala 17th, Frins 18th, Palmer 19th, Nasser 20th, with Newgarden 21st and Armstrong in 22nd position. So we will wait for the for Schumacher to go back into the pits. It will then say practice over. We'll go through the results again once it goes back to the menu screen, and then we'll end this live stream there. And so what do you make of this Young Drivers Test? Any of the young drivers in this field impressed you so far? Let us know in the Twitch chat. I would love to hear. As now through towards Bridge Corner will go Mick Schumacher, as he will approach the pits in a little bit as he goes through Priory and Brooklands. So he's soon now approaching the pit entrance, and he will soon peel back into the pits, knowing that his teammate has topped this Young Drivers Test, Santino Ferrucci. So now Schumacher into the pits he goes, and it should say practice over. I think it did say practice over there just briefly. Schumacher now then in pit lane, and there you go, it's gone back to the menu screen. So there you have it then. That is the end of this Young Drivers Test. A reminder then of what the leaderboard looked like. It was Ferrucci fastest with Mazepin in 2nd. Sorry, let's try that again. Here is a reminder of the leaderboard. It's Santino Ferrucci fastest with Nikita Mazepin 2nd, Nicholas Latifi 3rd, George Russell 4th, Felix Rosenquist 5th, Mick Schumacher 6th, Artem Markelov 7th, Alexander Albon 8th, Sergio Seti Kamara 9th, Daniel Kvyat 10th, Callum Elot 11th, Nico Kari 12th, Jordan King 13th, Christian Lundgaard 14th, with Ferdinand Hasberg 15th, JR Hildebrand 16th, Patrick Kjala 17th, Robin Frins 18th, Will Palmer 19th, Felipe Nasr 20th, Joseph Newgarden 21st, and Marcus Armstrong in 22nd position. So there you have it then, guys. That has been it for this Young Drivers Test here at Silverstone, and that is it for today's live stream. I hope you've enjoyed it. It has been quite an interesting day for the Young Drivers Test, and hopefully a lot of these young drivers have impressed a lot of the team bosses in the top class, and even in GP2 and GP3 as well. But there you have it then, guys. That has been it. I hope you've enjoyed it. We will see you then, guys, next weekend at the German Grand Prix at Hockenheim for another packed weekend for IFMC. But until then, that has been it. I hope you've enjoyed it. So thank you very much for watching. I'm in JWF1, and I will see you guys next weekend at the German Grand Prix in Hockenheim. Until then, take care.